Today we are going to be starting our onions from seed indoors. This is going to be part 1 of how to start your onions from seed indoors. We're going to have a series of growing them, getting them potted up, put into their cells and under the grow lights. And then the next part of the series will be more of maintaining them before they go out into your garden. And then the best part is when we plant them outside once the springtime comes. I live in Southwest Ohio in Zone 6B, so hopefully this can help you guys. Today's date is February 15th, so I am starting them a little later, but I know starting them today is perfectly fine on the 15th because in previous years, the earliest I have started them was on February 17th. And normally our last frost date is somewhere around like the May 1st line. I think it's a little earlier for my area this year, but typically I have always planted, it seems, the first week in May. If you're new to starting onions from seeds, you have 2 options really. You can start them from seed or you can buy onion sets, which is, imagine like a clove of garlic. That's kind of what it reminds me of. And so it's just like a tiny little bulb and then you plant it out and then the onion grows from that bulb. One year I did both sets and seeds and it was like an amazing year. I had so many onions. They both did amazing. I wouldn't say that one did better than the other. So last year I was like, why take the time to start them from seed if they did so great from sets the previous year? I don't know if it was the weather that contributed to it or anything, but I just did not have a good year at all with onion sets. And I just kind of pushed it off. I was like, I am never probably going to be doing onion sets again. I didn't have any onions last year, not one. They were all rotten and gross. More cost efficient and better is to just start them from seeds. Now here in Zone 6B or Zone 6, you have 2 options for onions. So your onion seeds, they come in 3 different varieties. So you have short day, long day, and intermediate day. So where I live, you can do intermediate and long day. There's like this little map. I will try to put it up on the screen and it has like color codes of where your state is and the amount of sun that you get per day. So where I live, I could do both. So what I'm doing is a little experiment this year. I am going to be doing intermediate onion and a long day onion. And also on top of that, I am doing a red onion, which is the long day onion, and I am doing a yellow onion. Normally I've only done yellow onions, but I really want and love red onions, so we're gonna do both and we're going to see how this all turns out. So I bought my onion seeds from Johnny's Seeds this year. I have an intermediate one and it's just a hybrid yellow onion. It's called Calibra F1 OG. And then the hybrid red onion is Barlow F1. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with making our medium. So today I'm gonna be using this seed starting mix from Menards. I've never used this before, but I have seen other people use it. I just went in at the time. They didn't have the one that I normally get. So I do have this one now, and I'm just gonna save it for the other seeds, but this is the Jiffy brand. This is just something that is simple, convenient, and easy to use to start your seeds. Now, don't let this deter you from starting seeds ever. If it's something that you can't find, you can also find other ones on Amazon and whatnot, but some people, they literally start their seeds from potting soil. Think about it, if seeds are started all the time outside in the ground where it's like a hard soil, what's different about these seed starting mixes is they are like super, super fluffy and they allow that seed to germinate and open. You got to think about the seed itself and how a plant comes out of it and how they push open the seed. They have to have something soft to push out of. So that is why most seed starting mixes are soft. But now I gotta go get scissors. Oh my God, it smells. Oh, it smells like straight up sewage. Holy. Oh, that smells like diarrhea. That is bad. Oh my gosh, I wish I would have never cut into that yet. Whoa, holy moly. Okay, so we're gonna get started with the soil now that I got it cut open. I'm just gonna pour, I don't know, I'm not gonna do the whole bag because honestly, I am not doing a ton of onions, but I want to do more than I normally have. So I'm just gonna have to like kind of go a little by little. I'm actually going to be doing a different method this year when it comes to potting up. Normally I would do like a burpees cell tray like this, where it has like the little water reservoir in the bottom. You could pop out the bottoms here. But I realized that I don't actually have, I had 2 of these. I don't have 2 humidity domes, which is the plastic film that you will need to put on top. This is just like a leftover Jiffy one from like years of me having them. I probably should buy some actual like nice plastic humidity domes, because you need to have that dome over top of your seeds once it's in the mix and in the container. Just popping in, this is me editing, and I don't know why I didn't think of it at the time, but you don't need to go out and buy humidity domes if you don't have them. You can just use like plastic wrap, I think is what it's called, like saran wrap, and put that on the top and it will act as a humidity dome. So don't feel like if you don't have it that you need to go out and buy some. I don't know why I didn't think of that in the moment, but as I'm editing this, I remembered. To germinate, because they need like that heat from a heat mat, and it kind of gets like nice and moist and almost like a little like rainforest environment inside. But I realize I am missing one of my domes. So I decided I'm gonna go with this bigger tray, and I'm going to go with soil blocking this time. Okay, so when it comes to the seed starting mix, I am not 100% sure how much I'm going to be using, because I don't know how many seeds I actually want to plant. I kind of wing it on this part. I know I want to do more than I've normally done, but I don't have a set amount. Plus I am redoing my bed layout this year. I'm building some bigger beds. I'm taking some of the smaller beds away. I'm just trying to optimize my space so I can get more growing in a season. So this year I had literally just got this from Amazon. This is a soil blocker. So you have like the little things here, the little cutouts. And once this is all wet and all mixed, you push it in. Apparently you get it all packed up in there, and then you will push it in there to create little soil blocks. And these onions can live in that up until they're ready to be planted outside, as I've heard. So we're gonna, it's kind of like a little experiment too. Okay, so you got your mix inside of a little tub. I just use a storage bin. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to use a little bit of this worm casting. So don't let this deter you. If you don't wanna buy the worm castings, don't buy it. This is just a little bit of extra nutrients that I want to put in here. I knew that I wanted to add something to my soil to help with the nutrients in for my seeds. And so I came across worm castings. So this is my first time using it. And just to give you a fair warning that this stuff smells. Okay, so we're going to, and I'm going to wait till the very last second. I'm going to sprinkle some of this in. Since I did not do a full bag, I am going to just put probably like half a cup or so, and I'm just going to eyeball it, put it in here. I'm going to mix it all up, and then we have some water that I need to put in here to kind of create my mixture. So you definitely want to put water in with your mixture, because as you can see, this stuff is super, super fluffy and light. Like, just see how it falls off of my hand. In the past, I have actually just put this in a cell, put the seed in, and then I go to water it at the very end, and it literally just like the water bubbles up on top. Okay, so now you can see the soil. I want you guys to be able to see, as I'm mixing all of this, how the medium will look when it's at the right stage. You don't want it to be, obviously, like I said, super fluffy, but you don't want it to be super saturated. You want it to be in a form where it can clump up really nicely and stay together, but not fall apart or be seeping wet. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, like, that stuff stinks. I did not realize how bad worm poop would smell. Like, don't get me wrong, I can take some smells. Majority of my life I've worked with animals before I had my kids, and I worked with farm animals and cleaned horse stalls, and I mean, animal poop has been in my life for quite some time. Normally I would just go outside and get some of our well water, but it is 30 degrees outside, so I really don't feel like going outside and turning the hose on. If I'm not using my well water outside to water my seedlings when I'm indoors, or any of my plants, like my house plants, I buy this spring water and just use that, because we do have a water softener, and if you didn't know, you shouldn't be using your water softener to water any types of plants. So I use this, or I will take that jug when it's empty and I will go fill it up with our water outside, because our outside spigots are not connected to our soft water. But I think I need a little bit more water. Okay, so let's get to trying to make these soil blocks. So just gonna press it in there, make sure it's all really full. So I'm hoping I like this method of planting. This just makes sense to me. I feel like it saves you money. Like, this product, I think only costs like $18 on Amazon, and they do have different sizes. You can actually get smaller ones. Now, when planting your onion seeds, make sure you are getting new onion seeds every single year. Onion seeds in general do not have a good germination rate after the first year, and you really don't want a chance planting all those seeds and then they just not growing or germinating at all. I will see where some people will, you know, put the old ones in and they may germinate, but they're teeny tiny and they're struggling. Okay, when it comes to labeling my onions, I always just use blue painter's tape and a Sharpie. And you can see on the front I have red and yellow, and I just mark that, and I kind of like, since I'm doing just one full tray of onions, I'm doing 20 yellow and 20 red. So that's why I have like 20 on there, and I kind of like put it, so I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like the line is like right here of where they're going to be separated. Okay, so we're gonna start with our yellow onions. When planting, I don't know if you can see, there is tiny little indents, and they're probably about 1/2 inch. Usually it will say on the back of your seed packet, it'll tell you like how deep to plant them, how far apart to plant them. So you want to go off of what it says, and onion seeds are really, really tiny. So typically, so it says in here there's a minimum of 250 seeds, but I like to get them poured out into my hand, and you can see how tiny these are. When planting them, I am usually pretty generous. Not every seed is going to germinate completely. I usually put 2 to 3 seeds per cell, and this is just to make sure that I don't have any empty spaces. Hopefully get a onion per cell block. Gardening can be as hard as you want it to be, or as easy as you want it to be. Back in the day, they didn't have all these fancy things and do all these fancy techniques. If you want to be super nerdy about it and have all the gadgets and the gear and whatnot, you can. So when it comes to watering your seedlings, you want to keep the soil moist, but you don't want it like super, super wet. And it's really nice if you can actually bottom water. So that would be pouring the water in the bottom of the tray, letting that soil and the plant soak up from the bottom, and it kind of teaches those roots to reach down for the water. Whereas if you do everything on the top, you can invite fungus and different diseases with your soil being moist on top at all times. I will have to let you guys know about the soil blocking. I really, really hope that it works out, that I like it as much as a lot of people talk about it, because it really can save time and money instead of like having, you know, these aren't too bad, but a lot of people will go and buy these to plant in, and these aren't that expensive, but it is just another cost that you gotta have. And not that they're bad or anything, but I would just prefer to be able to do this. It's one less item that I am having to buy and deal with. So how I said how you have to plant 2 or 3 seeds per cell, Now, when it comes time for them to pop out of the ground, you're actually not going to keep all of them. You can, and then you could just separate them when the time comes to plant out. But typically you will let them grow, you'll pick the best one, and you'll pluck that other one. And then so it's just one onion per cell. But like I said, if you want to, when it comes time to plant outside, because they're just so easy, and like onions, you can mess around with the roots and whatnot, and they're usually pretty good. You could separate those and then you'd have more onions. Okay, so before I put them on the heat mats, put the humidity dome on, I'm gonna take a water bottle, just a spray water bottle. This is not actually ever been used for this cleaner. It's just a bottle that I had that was brand new. I'm gonna squirt the tops really well just because this topsoil I don't want to dry out faster than the rest of it. And we want to keep them nice and moist. And then we're gonna put that humidity dome on. We're gonna put them on a heat mat under the lights, and it's gonna kind of create this like little hot, humid area for them. This is my little setup that I have here. I have my heat mat plugged in, and then I have the humidity dome on, and I have my lights on. So you want to make sure that the lights are pretty close to the actual onion seeds. Eventually, all that moisture inside there is going to create a good environment for it. When it comes to watering your seedlings, it goes by look and feel. If the dirt feels really dry, then give it some water. If it doesn't, then let it be. So you don't want to saturate them too much, but you still want them to be pretty moist. You can use the spray bottle to spray the top, and then I like to do is bottom water. And so you will take and lift this up, and you pour some water down in the bottom of the tray, and those roots and the soil will absorb through the bottom. So you're going to leave this humidity dome on until you start to see majority, I'd say like 75 to 80% of these seedlings start to pop up. So once they have like reached through the top, then typically I will take the dome off. Sometimes I actually will leave them on until they're almost to the point of like wanting to touch the top of this. But sometimes some of the seeds take a little bit longer than the other ones. So it really just kind of depends. You want these lights to stay on for about 14 to 16 hours. A lot of people will say to get like the automatic timers that turn them on and off. I don't have those. Typically, when I wake up first thing in the morning, I come down here, I turn the lights on, and then I wait till the very last second before I go to bed to turn those lights off. So they might not get exactly 16 hours, but it's worked for me. And that is everything you need to know on how to start your onion seed indoors. If you have any questions, please put them down below. Like I said, I'm going to be doing another video once they get a little bit bigger. I'm going to show you how to care for them until it is time for them to go out into the garden. And I am looking forward to all of the videos that I'm going to be bringing to you guys this year. I'm really excited for gardening season this year, and there will be, hopefully in the next month or so, we're going to be doing DIY raised garden beds, and I'm going to show you the type of wood, everything that I'm going to be doing. So if you want to see that, please let me know down below, and you can follow me over on Simply DIY Home, which is my home improvement type of home decor Instagram. I have a website with that name, and I have an Instagram with that name, and then also over on TikTok, I am also Simply DIY Home. So if you want to follow me on other channels, I do have them linked down below, and if you have any ideas or any things that you guys want to see, or a Q&A or any questions, please leave them down below and I will answer them. Thank you so much. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.